Hello students, welcome to our next video on evaporation in which we will discuss the combined aerodynamic and budget method. So when we talk about energy method or aerodynamic method, we realize that there is some limitation associated with both of these methods. So question arises, can we estimate average evaporation by combining ER and EA? So one simple idea is that let us assign weight of 0.5 to ER, 0.5 to EA and calculate the average value that we estimate from R as well as A. On the other hand, more informed choice would be to take the weighted average. That take x1 here, take x2 here, and it should be divided by x1 plus x2, where x1 and x2 are hydrologically or psychrometrically more relevant parameters. I introduced the word psychrometric here because psychrometric deals with study of the mixture of air and water vapor and what could be a better mixture of air and water vapor than atmosphere. So we will try to identify what this x1 looks like, what this x2 looks like, and without going into detailed derivation, we will try to develop some intuition. But to develop that intuition, we have to look into a very important parameter which we call as Bowen ratio. Bowen ratio, which is defined as ratio of sensible heat flux. If you remember, we talked about sensible heat flux as that heat quantity flowing per unit area per unit time that could result in changes in temperature. When we talk about latent heats, we only talk about phase changes without changes in temperature. And when we were doing energy budget method, we said that let us ignore HS, let us ignore anything that is being lost to ground. So here HS becomes a central component if we have to look into combined mass and energy method, so that we are not ignoring the heat that is lost because of changes in temperature. And this is divided by the rate of change of internal energy per unit time for water which is stationary. So it is EU dot, and we learned that we can estimate EU dot as LV times MV dot, because this is kilojoules per kg multiplied by rate change of mass kg per unit time give us the quantity in terms of rate, because here we are dealing with rate both in numerator as well as in denominator. Also, we learned that this HS should be proportional to rate change of temperature with respect to the altitude, and one negative sign will ensure that flow is always from the area of high temperature to low temperature. To remove this constants of proportionality, again we introduce the eddy parameters, which is rho A, Cp, Kh, and this would be dt by dz. If you remember, we have been dealing with dc by dz, dv by dz in all the quantities wherever we are looking into transport through convection. So this Hs can also be intuitively understood in the same way that this deals with how much quantity would flow if two bodies are at different temperature. Also, we learned that mv dot is equal to minus rho a kw d omega by dz. This is same from the basis of aerodynamic method, where d omega by dz is rate change or change of specific humidity with respect to height, and negative sign ensures that we are always going from the high values to lower values, or the direction of flow is from high to low. Now when we take this ratio HV upon m dot V, we end up with HV mv dot as Cp Kh dt by d omega, and this is Kw, and we can divide both sides by latent heat of vaporization of water. So this becomes Cp Kh Kw dt upon dw. This becomes Bowen ratio. It is Hs upon Lv upon m dot V, which can be written as beta. So beta is equal to CpKH would remain as it is, and dt can be written as T2 minus T1, dW can be written as W2 minus W1. Now we can again write this as CpKH T2 minus T1. This would be E2 minus E1. Since we have converted W to E, we know that if we multiply it by 0.622 in denominator, and numerator would become P, because our W is 0.622 E upon P. So I have converted both of these, because ultimately whenever we are dealing with hydrology, we always want to express our formulae in the quantities that are measurable. While we cannot measure specific humidity directly, we can always measure the vapor pressure using various techniques like wet bulb temperature and so on. Similarly, we can measure temperature using normal thermometers with mercury or digital thermometers as they are available. So entire idea of this exercise is to reduce our formulae into measurable quantities, which we write it as Cp KHP into 0.622 Kw. This remains as T2 minus T1, and this would be K2 minus E1. This constant, this is the collection, these are bunch of the constant terms that we are dealing with, and I think we missed one LV here. So one LV should come here, one LV should come here, one LV should come here, and so on. Now this collection of this box is called as gamma or psychrometric constant, and we would use this gamma in one of these x1, which will become very clear very soon. Also, we learnt that saturation vapor pressure can be determined as 611 exp 17.27 T divided by 237.3 plus T Pascal. So we can always take its derivative or delta, which would be its slope. So if you differentiate it with respect to temperature, you can always calculate what is going to be the slope of saturation vapor curve. Now, after series of derivations, which we are not going to go into detail, we can say that x1 can be best estimated by delta and x2 is best estimated by gamma. So if we have to combine this energy or estimates of evaporation coming from energy budget and estimates of evaporation coming from aerodynamic method, the best way to do that would be E equal to delta times EA plus, this would be delta would be multiplied by the energy budget term plus gamma times EA divided by delta plus gamma, where delta and gamma they are determined by looking at temperature and other constants as we discussed. One is the slope of saturation curve, and another one has a special name called as psychrometric coefficient. We are not going into its lengthy derivation, but here idea is to give you that how we can combine two different methods by using some of the psychrometrically informed coefficients. Also, if you look at this expression, as we did in the case of aerodynamic method, we cancelled the ratio of Km, and we said that the constants that we included in momentum transfer and the mass transfer, they would be almost equal to 1, and hence we cancelled out. Similarly, we can always reduce this beta to be Cp into P LV into K into 0.622. Now this famous equation is widely used as the combination method, and this is also known as Penman's method to estimate evaporation. Now, a scientist named Priestley Taylor, they showed that this second term that we have here, gamma into del plus gamma into EA, is just 30% of the first term. So we can write it in simplified form as alpha times delta ER divided by delta plus gamma, because when we are in field estimating the radiations per meter square is easier in comparison to doing all the calculations for energy budget for aerodynamic method. So we need some rough approximations that how we can simplify this formula, that rather than calculating EA first, then ER and then combining them, after series of experiment, it was found that if we substitute gamma or this alpha by 1.3, not gamma but alpha by 1.3, the estimates can simply be written as 1.3 ER divided by delta plus gamma, and this equation is known as Priestley-Taylor method to estimate evaporation. So to summarize, we looked into almost four methods. First one is energy method, where we can estimate the rate of evaporation E as Rn, which is net radiation, divided by LV and rho W, and this is typically represented as ER. If at standard temperature of 20 degrees Celsius and at the atmospheric pressure of 101.3 kPa, we can, these two are just constant and the only variable that remains here is Rn. So ER is sometimes written as 0.035 Rn in mm per day. Second method that we looked at was aerodynamic method. In aerodynamic method, we said that energy is not a problem, mass is. So we can estimate rate of evaporation in aerodynamic method as B times EAS minus EA, where B is collection of all the constant terms, which is K square 0.622 rho A divided by P into rho W ln Z2 upon Z1 square into U2 minus U1, where EAS is equal to 611 exponential 17.27 T divided by 237.3 plus T. I never miss an opportunity to write this expression because this is so important in entire discussions on precipitation and evaporation. And finally, we said that neither aerodynamic is good enough, neither energy is good enough by itself. So we need to combine these, and we will combine them using delta and gamma as the weighing parameter. So we say that delta ER divided by delta plus gamma, gamma divided by delta plus gamma, multiply it by EA, it gives us the average evaporation from both methods combined, where gamma has a very special place and it is called as psychrometric coefficient, and delta is differentiation of this term, which is EAS with respect to temperature. So this becomes our delta, and then this method was further simplified by Priestley-Taylor, where they said that instead of using this exact calculation of EA always, the best estimate of E is 1.3 delta upon delta plus gamma into ER. And this finishes our discussion on various methods to quantitatively estimate evaporation. In next video, we will look into one example, and also we will extend our discussion to the topic of evapotranspiration, that is water that is lost from surface as well as from the stomata of leaves combined. Thank you.